Hey, you know how we are the same person but we're different people?
Yeah.
And how we have like the same name, Ryan and Ryan. We're not like Ryan and Ryanald.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I'm unfortunately tracking. What's the point?
Well, my point is that we've got a Bobby and a Robert,
Bobby Maszka,
who are two different
Robert
people
Boehm
with
Antillion,
the same name that is different.
Yeah. And they're the different people
Yeah.
with the same name.
Right.
Robert and Bobby. Robert,
Yes.
Bobby.
And we're Ryan.
Yeah?
And yeah. And
Uh-huh.
do you ever think about that?
No. Oh. All right. Well, let's do this. What? Starts like this. Robert, Bobby, hi.
What's going on?
Hi.
Nice to see you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're here with Robert the drummer,
Yes.
Bobby the guitar player of Antillion.
Mm-hmm.
We've had quite a few members of Antillion. I think we're just missing Al at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who secretly is here. Al, come on out. No, just kidding. We'll get him on here. He's a harder fish to catch, but even at a show, he's
Yeah.
He
sly
kind of
and
keeps
cool.
his own thing.
Yeah.
He's a bass player, even if you don't see him play an instrument.
He's definitely a bass player.
He's there,
But he's a great bass player.
right? And he's an excellent bass player, but he's there, and he's chill, and he's quiet, and when you need him, he's right next
Yeah.
to you.
Just let him do his thing.
So you guys are here. You've got an EP coming out. We have
Yes.
a big festival coming up. You have a show coming up in 7 day a week from
Yeah.
today.
June 20th, Copenhagen.
So, quick recap. How did you guys join the band? You started it, yeah?
Yeah, kind of.
Robert is who I'm
So, I think I met Bobby first. We talked, I think Noemi said it on, I think both Mike and Noemi mentioned it in their episodes with you. I met Bobby on Yik Yak, which is think of it like Twitter, but anonymous and only it's location based. So like a 5-mile radius, I think it is. And, we were shit posting or something.
Yep.
Just, hey, I really feel like making music right now. I feel like starting a punk band. Who wants to start a punk band? Just, Twitter type posts. You didn't expect anyone to see it. And I think Bobby posted it. And I was
Yeah.
like, I commented, I was like, man, I feel the same way. And he was like, yo, give me your Snapchat. We gave our Snapchats in this anonymous private thing. It's probably not the best idea. But we started talking. We started talking about some other people we could get to join the band. We went through like a few people. We jammed once. We met at Music Garage. It was super awkward, but it was fun. Later on, we got another person who was playing on guitar, and then Noemi. I asked her. She told the story of how we met.
Yep.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Right?
And I met Noemi through you.
Before that, where do you come from, Robert?
Where do I come
Yeah.
from? I grew up in the suburbs, so I'm kind of the odd one out. I mean,
Okay. Musical family out in the suburbs.
not really. I mean, a little bit. My dad, he played trumpet, wasn't like super into it.
Okay.
My older brother, I don't know if you've met him.
He's in Choose Your Character, right?
Yeah, he's the bassist for Choose Your Character. We share a lot of music taste. He kind of introduced me into the music, everything,
Yeah.
honestly. I grew up listening to all the stuff he listened to, Fall Out Boy, Coheed and Cambria.
Oh, beautiful.
So it's like every once in a while I'll hear a song. It's like, I know this song, but I don't know the song. I probably heard it when I was like 12 years old or
Yeah.
something. But fun fact, me and Bobby actually went to the same high school out in the suburbs.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. But we didn't know each other. We never met
Yeah.
until now.
How many years younger are you than me?
I was gonna say, so not the same year.
Yeah, no,
Maybe
he was
4
a
years?
senior when I was a freshman, so it's
Yeah.
got to be like 4
4
years.
years.
So do you come from a musical family? I'm looking at Bobby.
No.
Okay.
Okay. What? I don't know. When I answer that, my parents are not, but
Right.
both of my siblings have done music
Okay.
in some
Older,
way.
younger,
Both
middle?
older.
Oh, you're the youngest.
I'm the youngest.
Nice.
My sister did like choir in high school and musical performance in college. And then my brother Jack, he plays a guitar, and he's been playing longer than me. So
Nice. Does he currently play play? Do they both currently?
Jack, my brother, he plays. He's in a jazz band right now, but he used to be in like a cover band that I'd see him play, and I was like, I want to be in this. Like I'd come up on stage with them sometimes, like play a cover too, and I was like, I love doing this.
So you were playing at home first?
Yeah.
Okay, and then school bands, high school, either of you?
Yeah, this was my first band. I mean, for the longest time.
Band?
Yeah, I was a huge band kid. I started piano lessons really young. I never kind of kept with it, so I'm not great at piano. I started trumpet. Here's a fun fact. I wanted to play drums ever since kindergarten. I remember,
nice.
Those about me things they would make you do.
Early, yeah.
Right, it was a weird thing. I think it started from Rock Band and these like drum toys I would get. So yeah, I was pretty decent at Rock Band. But I wanted to be a drummer ever since I was little. But I didn't start drumming until high school. I was forced to do trumpet in middle school just because it wasn't as loud.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting pick. I mean, I guess drums are a different kind of loud.
Right.
But I think you can be, at least it's just rhythm.
Right.
Instead of rhythm and tune and breath.
I was never great at the melody stuff. It's like rhythm came much more naturally to me.
I started out as a drummer, and I constantly feel that even if I'm doing other instruments, I'm so rhythmically minded. It's just the way to approach it. So you play guitar because Jack played guitar, or because it was just kind of...
Well, my first experience with music, my dad had a cassette tape. And whenever we like go on trips or whatever in his car, he always just played it, and it was like the same like 20-30 songs.
Like
but yeah,
literal tape.
Yeah. It was like a mix of like Foo Fighters, Green Day, like Sweet, just like a bunch of just rock, rock. So that was my first experience with that, and then I played a lot of Guitar Hero when it came out.
There it
I
is.
played when it came out. I think Guitar Hero 2 came out like 2006 or something, and I was like 5 years old, and I started playing it, and then I just kept playing it, and I remember getting to medium difficulty. I was like, wow, I can like progress at this. So I just kept playing.
Have you played in a while? Guitar Hero.
I mean, I haven't played in a while, but I think I could probably still.
You have to, I find, approach Guitar Hero first because it's a video game inherently. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people who are really good at guitar go to Guitar Hero and they go, I can't. It's more than 5 buttons. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, because you got to remember you're playing a video game. Mm-hmm. But the switch, the opposite, from Guitar Hero to guitar, it just kind of feels like more buttons.
Yeah.
Whereas it's not as frustrating. So cool. So that's how you guys got to Antillion. We know the Antillion story. I've been seeing you guys gigging. Your current EP set list. Even though I've heard more than what's going to be on this EP, right? There's some stuff you guys have played live that's not on this. 2 of them are actually already released. Your opener and your closer. Assuming is that the set list of the EP in order?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so the opener and closer are already out on Spotify. We've discussed those. The other 3 I've heard. Tell me about the actual recording process. Who did what, where, when? It sounds incredible. The drums are really nice. You can hear every single drum, which can be difficult.
Thank you.
And the guitars are crisp. You can hear everything. You can lose a lot in a mix. It's like movies are saved in the editing room. I think albums can be saved in the mixing room. Because a live performance is a good time. We're all drinking, we're all partying and having a good time.
Yeah.
The album is like the painting, right? This is what it's supposed to sound like. Right. And so you need all of that in there. Tell me about it.
There's such a high standard when it comes to recording. It's like, it's kind of hard. There's this barrier to entry coming from a DIY standpoint. It's like, if you want to put stuff out as fast as possible, but at the same time, there's that barrier to entry. So we tried to, put out the best we could, and we kind of had this standard for ourselves. It's like, we don't want to put something out that's unlistenable. And luckily, we have a few connections. So my friend Jacob, he's my friend from high school. He's a great bass player, plays multi-instrumentalist. He plays everything.
Nice.
He goes to Western Michigan for jazz. Amazing guy. He's not super big into metal, or he's more in a classic rock, blues, jazz guy. He's like, mentally, he's like 50 years old, but he's the same. He's the same age as me.
Yeah, I love it.
But we record. He's a full studio in his basement. His family's huge on music.
Nice.
It's not like a grungy studio. It's like it's a studio. Yeah. And he's recorded his own music, so he's got some experience, and he's interned with studios.
Yeah.
So we recorded with him. He helped us out with the songwriting a little bit, just studio wise, how to make things kind of fit better for studio.
Cool.
And we've been friends for a long time, so it was natural to invite the band over, and work with someone who you knew, and that made disputes and artistic things easier.
Just conversations versus arguments.
Right. I mean, it can get a little because we're so different, but.
And you're new. It's still. I
Right.
know you guys have been a band for a while, but it's still in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
Metallica's been playing their greatest hits for 40 years, so it's like, even though you get a couple years in, now you're just ready to go have those conversations where somebody might be like, fuck this, take up my mic stand, I quit.
Right.
Versus, all right, you know what, you might be right. Let me step away from it. All right, you're right. I'll change the drums. It was a good call.
Right.
Don't touch my drums. It's a good idea. You know what I mean? Or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So you guys in the studio, you had your songs ready to go. You've been gigging them around. Who's kind of the driving force in a studio setting? Is there somebody who's like, okay, guys, let's make sure that they've got all the instruments, or is your friend actually good at hosting it himself? All right, drums, get in there. Let's run this whole show.
I mean, both. I feel like you kind of have to have a member of the band who's in the know, because it's not like he's in a group chat with us or whatever. So that, I mean, that kind of falls on me. I feel like I do a lot of logistical handling around the band.
Leadership?
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely am the most involved, and I think that's partly because I have nothing else to do.
You're the youngest, right? Of the
Yeah.
whole group, right?
I mean, I've got school, but it's like, everyone else has jobs, and it's like, I'm...
For real, though.
Right.
So it naturally falls onto you having the time, but I also genuinely think you're pretty good at it. You see,
I'd like to
when
think so.
When you guys show up at shows, everybody's on time and ready to go, but you're like, usually the first one, boots on the ground, last one to leave, if you can't, you know what I mean? You're just make sure we all got my stuff. It's fine that you knocked over my drums and you were using them, but it was the Cursed Book Club show. So, Bobby, then, do you, when you have an idea that you want to input, have you had to, has it always been pretty easy? You guys haven't known you haven't known each other since high school, but you come from the same area, known each other a long time. Is it easy for you? Do you kind of just along for the ride, thanks for the paycheck?
No, I mean, I usually, like, so when I write things, it's usually at like 2 a.m. I'm at my computer and I'm just jamming out, and I get an idea, and then I just kind of record it and send it over to these guys and see what they think. And that's how I think most of our songs have been.
Good. Everybody brings their Lego piece.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's like I kind of send over something, and then, we add things or change things, and we've been really good about, if there's something that someone doesn't like, then they'll speak up, and we'll all try to compromise on it. We're not like, we always try to get everyone's input.
Any notable compromises on the EP?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, we kind of all, I don't know, we help each other out. It's like,
You're facing the same direction on this one.
right. We I don't know. We all come from different sort of influences, so there are points where it's like, I think it would sound better if we did this, and it's like, maybe I'll pipe in, and it's like, I kind of hear that in my head, and I don't think that would be the case, but let's try it both ways.
Yeah.
A lot of the time when we are songwriting in person, which we don't get to do a lot, it's been hard since, I live pretty far away from these guys. They're all in the city, and they're all busy, so it's hard to get 5 people in a room together. But it's always like, let's try both ways. And sometimes I'll get surprised and be like, what, I actually kind of like your way better. And then sometimes it's like, what, Robert, that was the greatest call you've ever made. Not to pat myself on the back.
You're a literal god. Cool. So then about the actual EP itself, I think Sleeper Hit Bear Trap.
Yeah, that's actually,
you know what I mean?
I think that one sticks with people.
Number 4, let me look. No, Parade number 4. Number 3, Bear Trap. How do I pronounce the O one?
Okezia.
Okezia. What is Okezia?
Okezia is a pretentious word. I found it on a TikTok that was like, talking about obscure words to describe obscure feelings.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, I might get this wrong because it's been a while since I looked at the definition, but okasia is the fear that the role you had in someone's life, it can be easily replaced or taken over by someone else, which is honestly pretty spot on to what the song's about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not exactly that song, but the entire EP kind of encompasses it if you look at the lyrics, which we'll definitely have up at some point once it's released.
You guys vote on names of songs?
Yeah, it's kind of just throwing darts at the board. I mean, a lot of the time it'll be just a demo title, and then we'll workshop it. We'll workshop it. Or,
Yeah.
I think okasia. Yeah, I literally saw it on TikTok, and I was like, "That's a pretty cool word," and it kind of just stuck. Bear Trap was Mike's idea. That was actually all of Mike's song.
Nice. Shout out Mike.
When he auditioned for our band the very first day, he's like, I have this song idea. It's totally yours if you guys want it, or if you guys, invite me to jam with you guys. And we jammed on it. It was like, this is a cool song. Like, we kind of are starting to go in a different direction because Bear Trap it's a 4 on the floor rock song. Let's be honest.
For sure.
But there are aspects of it that I think are our own little touches.
I think it definitely sounds like Antillion.
Yeah, that's the nice thing. I think this
but it's
EP.
a sleeper hit because it is a little 4. Like I don't want to call it 4 on the floor. That's so reductive. But it's definitely the catchier, easier hook.
Yeah.
Right.
But it still sounds like you all. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that because this EP, what we really wanted to do is, we wanted to get the DIY stuff out of the way. From here on out, we want it to be full on production.
Excellent.
Like we'll talk about this later, but we're currently making headway on recording some newer songs
Nice.
at Electrical Audio, so it's a full on studio.
Yeah.
But this EP is really just finding our sound, putting the songs together that we wrote
Been
in
in
the
the
beginning.
studio together as a band,
Right.
released a thing, did a thing. Now you know.
Yeah.
what
At
to
least we
expect.
have music out,
Yep.
Yeah, this EP was all about, we all kind of just met each other, and we all come from different musical backgrounds, but all kind of within the same.
Yeah.
So it was just like figuring out what we're going to sound like. With, I think, ending on a bad note, that's more of a kind of my sort of background song where it's very pop punk. It's
Totally.
I listen to like a lot of MCR and Green Day,
Yeah.
and that's when I jammed on a lot. So that's
Okay.
a few fun facts. If you listen to "I Brought You My Bullets, You Brought Me Your Love," which is a MCR album, their first album, there's a few Easter eggs in there.
I love that. I
in a few of the
I
songs.
love that. No, that's really cool.
Yeah.
There's it's a niche thing, but Mick Gordon did the music for the new Doom games, and I hear a lot of Iowa Slipknot there's specific riffs from Slipknot that I'll hear in Doom, and I'm like, that is fucking Iowa.
That's
So
interesting.
it's cool to hear influence. Some people can be really weird about that. I sound like Foo Fighters, or don't tell me I sound like a band. I sound like me. You obviously you learned behavior. You learned to play guitar because somebody else before you played guitar. They played it like that, and you learned that way. So you're gonna sound like your influences. Like finding your sound is like blending of everybody's influences. So it's like it's like My Chemical Romance, Enter Shikari. I don't know, just making it up, and then George Strait. But all three of those are going to come up with something that will be our sound. So I think you guys have definitely found your sound. As somebody who's seen your live shows a bunch, I've been watching you guys get more comfortable on a physical stage. But I think your sound is there, and I'm excited to hear not only just the full release of this EP, because these are I got masters,
Yeah.
that sounded really good. So let's talk release. When's it coming out? When can they hear it? I've heard it.
Ooh, there's a lot of dates in my head, so I might get this wrong, but it's July 21st? Is that
Okay.
correct? No.
No.
July 12th.
Yeah, July 21st is when we're
Or
recording.
is it July 14th? Yeah.
July
it's
14th is Yarnapalooza.
Okay, July 12th. It's July 12th.
2 days
Process
before the
elimination.
festival.
Yes, it's July 12th.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good segue, but I want to take a minute. So the release, did you guys have that planned already?
I did it like a week ago.
Okay. So you're just kind of sitting on it.
Yeah.
And do you release through DistroKid?
CD Baby.
Okay.
That was a whole discussion. We just picked CD Baby because it was cheap, and I liked the idea of not having a subscription.
Yeah.
Having the idea of having your music on a streaming platform forever, regardless of what happens to Antillion, is just really cool.
And then, do you get to schedule a release? Is it like already uploaded and it's just waiting for July 12th?
Yeah,
Nice.
it's just scheduled. They recommend, like, with the distribution, it can be finicky.
Yeah.
Like they want you to give at least like something crazy like 6 weeks, but you can wait like 3 weeks.
Totally. I mean, you would imagine the distribution of a physical release. You got to let the trucks get to where it's going.
Right.
You need the data. You need everybody else releasing through that platform or other platforms is in line for their releases. Yada yada. So we will link. I'll link everything to the Spotify's that are already there right now for the opener and the closer. You guys will hear about the album. You can go and hear it in full June 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Week from today.
Tell me about the show in a week.
Cobra Lounge.
It's a big one, right?
Yeah.
Cobra Lounge.
I think we wanted to put together a headliner before the release, just to promote it a little bit. And the last headliner we had was a while ago. It was at Backyard 606, and it was it was a truly DIY show, and
Genuinely.
that was like our third show, so it was pretty wild that we even had a headliner. So this is kind of our first proper headliner, and our first time at a real venue too. I mean, we've been playing semi venues, bars, but this is like a venue
for music, right?
And
no, I totally understand.
I've been to Cobra Lounge a few times, and it's a great venue. It's small, but it's fitting for us. And
genuinely, it's the next rung in the ladder. You guys are forming out of the DIY scene,
right?
You know what I mean? As much fun as it is to be in it, and there's still people who prefer DIY even when they're doing brick and mortar tours. A lot of people that have played at the venue here are just like, this is so low pressure. I can breathe and have a good time tonight and play my show, and genuinely it'll come out of me better. Even though kind of the business or game plan is the bars and the tour and the whatnot, but it's kind of the same if you've got a tour of DIY spots. Maybe if you guys played in my garage the whole time, you wouldn't make it very far. But if it's one stop, there's a Chicago. It's the same thing as hitting Brothers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it might not be Talia Hall, but you got to get there. You got to learn those people, and that's when it's like, okay, how many people are listening to you? Your number? Are you a numbers guy? Are you watching who's listening?
Yeah,
I mean, when this release comes out, at least it's your first EP.
I'm always watching the numbers, and I'm just all about logistics. Like with this band, I find I have a lot of energy to be organized. I'm very OCD about that. If you look at our drive, you'll see like it's all organized. Yeah. There's several folders. There's subfolders. There's everything's organized.
I'm gonna at Halloween. I'm gonna invite you over to look at my folders and see how many document 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 songs. It's Crappy Bottom. What the fuck is Crappy Bottom, Ryan? I don't know. Open it up. It's 6 notes. I thought I should save it. Okay. That's June, July the 12th, July the 14th, Music Festival. Are you stoked?
We're super excited for that.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a fun time.
It's gonna be a big day. Have you guys ever done? You don't have to be there all day, but have you done anything that was bigger than maybe a couple of hours, like a night?
I don't know. I mean, me and Bobby actually went to Riot Fest for a few hours. When was it? Like, was that last year? I think.
Yeah.
All right. Last Riot Fest, by the way. Did you guys see that news?
No. What happened?
So they are moving out of Douglas Park. They're done with it.
Oh, okay. I heard the controversy.
They're becoming Riot Land, where it's going to be a new thing and a new location, and it's going to have a new.
Are they gonna have new lineups that are good, or
I don't know, but I've heard it's completely rebranding. You heard it here, folks. Even if I'm making it up, I'm not though. I'm definitely reiterating news I read earlier this morning. But yeah, Riot Fest is officially over as a festival. They're out at Douglas Park.
Wow.
Now they're in the suburbs, and they're gonna call it Riot Land and do something different.
Nice.
Interesting. Yeah, but I mean, that was like the longest. I think we're an introverted bunch. I mean, we're all a little introverted, except for Mike.
Yeah.
But me and Bobby are definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely
Mike will get you. Mike will get you guys in the Madison Square Garden in like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
I was out at a show.
Yeah.
And the guy said,
I was
I'm
talking
looking
to
for
this
somebody.
guy.
I'm like, hey, we've got the sauce, man. Kind soul. You guys, maybe because I know you guys better now, I wouldn't call you introverted, but also a little bit. Yeah, Mike's kind of the go-to guy.
Yeah.
You guys are all kind and ready to have conversations, but you guys aren't doing shots at the bar yet.
No.
Robert, we see you behind it, man. Actually, I want to take a minute and I want to hit on that because I think you are the first one, unless you're a bar who is currently hiring. All members of Antillion are 21 and older. If you ever recently have been under 21, regale us of that struggle, being in a band who's booking gigs, and you always got to be like, it's me, I'm 21 in 6 days, guys, or whatever it is. Talk to me about that, being in a city where that's where you're playing.
Right. I'm a sophomore. Am I a sophomore? Yeah, I think so.
It just ended, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Going into your junior year.
That's crazy. I'm going my junior. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I'm going to my junior year of college. And it's difficult. I mean, I won't name names, but recently we played a show where we almost thought it like we had to cancel because, they were, from the emails they sent, it seemed like they were really strict on this policy. And luckily we were able to work something out where it sucked. I had to sit out in the parking lot and, I had my friends there.
Of course.
So,
Yeah.
sit with me.
Still.
But it kind of sucked. It was like the first green room we had, and it was like kind of this nice band treatment. Big stage,
Yeah.
and I couldn't enjoy any of it because it was like I had
Anxiety.
people watching me, and it was like they were strict on it too. It's like you can't blame them, but it sucked.
It almost seems like you can just put a big fat X on your hands. Don't serve alcohol.
I mean, that's, yeah.
Drummer on his forehead, or whatever. Put a musician's jacket.
Right.
Okay, you have to wear this jacket, and everybody knows you can't drink, and you're here to play music.
Right.
It's a simple fix. Or everybody's anxious about it. We're pissed. You're sad, and then we figured it out. Now you got to go on stage. You're gonna pretend like you're happy, and you want to play a half hour, 45 minutes, an hour of music. Has that been a common thing, or is everybody pretty cool about it? Because from my experience, as somebody who would definitely worry about being underage in a bar, most bars are just like, yeah, stage is over there. Like, get out.
Yeah, I mean, that was like the first kind of thing we've had with it, the first issue we've had.
Yeah, and it's been a while. You've been playing for like a year.
Yeah, we've been playing quite a bit, but I mean, a lot of the spots are DIY, so it's like,
I get, book club. I guess it's technically DIY, even though it's a brick and mortar spot.
Yeah.
Us, brothers, but even they feel a bit DIY with their music.
Mm-hmm.
They're a sports bar, and then they're like, "Hey, music's over there."
Yeah.
So it's
not like a bar,
right. Where
It's
that's
different
what we're
vibe.
all doing, and we're here to make sure we sell more booze because we've got. And there's a place called Dorian's I've mentioned before, where the stage is behind the bar. Like you're at a bar, and then behind it, like a giant TV, is a stage for people to. So you're obviously looking past tequila to watch.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's kind of the thing. So Yadapalooza is going to be a really good time. There's going to be a lot of people that you guys know there that I know from you guys. I've mentioned this before. You all were the first show that we put on here with like Wine Dark Sea, Safety Society, and you filled my yard. And that was like your second, third, fourth show ever as a band.
That was our first public show, right?
Yeah, first public show.
So your second show. The first one was at Noemi's
grad party,
and then this. How did you guys fill my yard? Was it Safety Society? You guys have friends that just came out?
I do think a lot of it was us,
It
actually.
was
Yeah.
a lot of friends and
I
family.
always feel like Antillion has had a following since, I guess, literally the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of great friends, I mean,
it's worth it. The music is excellent.
Yeah, I think a lot of people
don't have a baked-in fan base.
Right. I think a lot of people when we first released Ending on a Bad Note, the reception we got was incredible. Like, all of our friends would be hitting us up, and it's just like, wow, I did not expect this level of quality or this catchy of a song, like,
especially
right off the bat.
Front, right?
Yeah. So I think, we've gotten a lot of great reception on our stuff. Like, it's crazy. Both of our songs that are released now are over 1,000 listens, and they've been released under a year, which is wild.
That's real, I almost said viewership, listenership. You know what I mean? Yeah. Actually, just charting. I can look at my Spotify numbers, and I like what I see, and I'm seeing like 400, 500. That's people listening. But a real following, like, oh, let's pay attention, is when the numbers start showing up.
Right.
So that's really cool. It's something I'm really proud of for you guys. So way to go.
The coolest thing is, obviously, like, the numbers are cool, but we don't care about the number. Like, we
No,
just-
totally. I mean, they are just numbers, but it's indicators.
yeah,
Right?
it's cool.
And you're always thinking, again, yeah, you got to be like, okay, they liked a couple of our songs, let's keep working. But it's nice to be like, hey, nice shirt.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Right. The coolest thing is that we all met each other just out of the love of music, and
Totally.
we started building this literal business out of like nothing, and it's just like we do it for fun, but it's like a passion project for all of us.
Yeah.
I feel like we're all pretty emotionally connected at this point, which is crazy because I feel like we met 2 years ago. Antillion has been around for a year, and it's like all this stuff has happened. And honestly, I was thinking back like this week, and I don't know what I'd be doing right now with all my time if I wasn't in Antillion. Because it's like, I'd be playing video games and probably just playing drum covers
Dude.
all the time.
There's that dude that does that literally on Twitch. He does the drum covers of video game music.
Yeah.
You'd have been doing something. I think you'd have found, because you're doing this, right? And you're already driven. It just happens to be a band called Antillion playing sick music, and you're like, let's fucking go, let's do shit. As musicians, Bobby, what's your favorite song to play?
My favorite song to play.
I feel like I could
It's
guess that
it.
even.
Antillion
It's
song.
changed. So
Antillion
Antillion song.
I guess overall song, either or.
I think "Praise the Swan" is probably my
Okay.
favorite song to play.
I don't even think we've mentioned that publicly. That name.
Yeah.
That's a cool song.
Do you know which song we're talking about, though?
Absolutely
Oh,
not.
okay.
I mean, I bet you if I heard it, but I don't know it by name.
It's a song in like the middle of our set.
Okay.
It has this really cool like breakdown part, but
The samba breakdown one?
No, that's
You know
a
what
song
I'm-
before
I
that.
love that one. I'd have to hear it.
Yeah.
As soon as you start it, I'd be like, yep. I've been to like 90 million of your shows. I would know it. I just...
yeah.
Anyway,
no, yeah,
so that one...
yeah. I'd say because that
It's the newest song.
it's the newest song I think
Okay.
it's kind of the sound we're going for, and
in
it's-
this next recording, happening July 22nd?
yeah,
21st.
21st.
yeah. But yeah, it's just like writing that song and then looking back at like how my guitar playing has changed since meeting Robert.
That's cool.
He's really kind of like changed the way I play guitar,
Because,
even though he's not a guitarist. I mean, he plays
you're
guitar,
having a
but
conversation as a band, and you're inherently learning each other's music language.
yeah, I mean,
You know what I
I started
mean?
really
Yeah.
getting into his influences,
Yep.
and then that
And you'll
kind
start
of
to write for it because
Yeah.
you kind of know what he's not maybe gonna do,
yeah,
but what his accent is gonna be when he starts speaking with the drums.
Yeah.
So you'll know, to even inherently, yeah, this is kind of how we end up jamming. So let's start here. And then just as a guitarist, what's your favorite guitar song to play?
favorite guitar song, just any
Straight up,
song.
any song you like, whatever you might have just played a million times, your go-to cover. If somebody's like, play guitar, and you're like, okay, this is easily muscle memory.
Probably. Oh my God, I could probably, I have so many songs I just listen to over and over again. It's not a fashion statement. It's a Death Wish by Mike Hem. Deception by Dance Gavin Dance.
Okay.
Let's see.
Evaporate.
Evaporate by Dance Gavin Dance.
Okay. Sensing a genre.
Yeah. Sensing a genre. Yeah.
Those are
Those are
what
the
you
main
taught
ones.
yourself on.
Yeah, I remember the first song I taught myself on was Basket Case by Green Day.
Nice.
It
It's
was,
a good starter.
Yeah,
Especially
that's
in
fun.
the genre.
yeah.
That's cool. Same questions. Favorite Antillion to Robert.
Oh, that's difficult.
And then favorite is drums.
Probably either Cruel or Crutches. Both of those are very much. I don't know why I like it. I think I am a very. I'm a weird. This is a weird way to put this, but I don't listen to the drums as often in music. Like I kind of listen to everything.
Yeah.
I think it's one thing, and good drummers do very well is they listen to the drums, but they're listening to everything because that's your role as a drummer. You want to support the music, and a good drummer's not thinking, all right, what should I play here? It's,
What does
you
it
know,
need?
listening to the bass, guitar, like the chord changes, like what's the rhythm of the chord changes, what's the melody, that's the most important thing.
Yep.
And especially in this genre, it's like you're accenting all these guitar rhythms, all these vocal melodies, and you're leaning into that even more in this genre. It's very like cut and dry, like almost matching the guitar riff with the drums. Some would call it like a Boehm thing, which I'm not a huge Boehm fan, which I will get hate for, but just matching like the guitarist riffs and turning that into a drum beat. It's very
Cool.
That's my style, honestly. And I think with Cruel, maybe it's Cruel, and Crutches, I do that the best.
I think Maybe It's Cool sounds really fun to play. as a
Yeah,
genre.
it's very fun. That was originally a demo called DGD Ripoff. That was like, I think Bobby just started listening to DGD because
Nice.
I got him into it, and he was on New Year's Eve, and he's like, hey guys, I put in
Yeah, it's like
Yep.
all my friends are doing stuff, and I was just like in my basement at my family's house, just playing guitar,
Really.
and it was just like I just like recorded it and sent it to them.
So it was just guitar.
Yeah, the original recording.
Nice.
I think we were singing on too, humming a melody or something.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
One of those. Don't forget this.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Immediately, I was like, this is like a generic Dance Gavin Dance song, but in a good way. Like, it was like, the thing is, I feel like I'm not as afraid to just blatantly, quote unquote, steal things, because no matter what you take inspiration from, you can't be that person. You're gonna naturally put in your own.
Yep.
The way you play is different from whoever wrote it. Even if you're emulating and trying to be
Yes,
as hard
exactly.
as possible. If you're trying to be Jimmy
Fingers
Page,
are different.
right? You're not gonna play like Jimmy
Right.
Page. You have other influences, and Jimmy Page has other influences, so he probably sounds like an amalgamation of other people.
Seriously.
So it's like, you know, I'm not afraid to just blatantly steal stuff, because at the end of the day, it's gonna sound completely different by the end of it. Like, I think Crutches is a good example. When the new Hail the Sun record came out, 60-minute session blocks, great song if you haven't heard it. Well, the entire record, honestly.
Okay.
But we heard the song, and I was like, dude, we got to write something like this. And we wrote Crutches, and it sounds nothing like it. Like,
Yeah, it
originally,
really does.
originally we were like, wow, this is a straight up ripoff. But you listen to it now, it's like,
Its own thing.
you wouldn't even think of that
Yeah.
song. Like, even if you knew both songs very well, you wouldn't be like, oh yeah, this is 60-minute session blocks vibes. Like, no, it's not.
That's cool. That's when you start to show through the music versus what you listen to starts to
Right.
show through your music, which can still be good, and you can people can say, "Oh, now I know. At least this sounds like Foo Fighters." Okay, I'm at least pointing in the right damn direction.
Right.
So we've got your album coming out. We've got your history.
Yeah.
We've got shows coming up. The recording that's coming up, is that going to be a full album or like a second actual, like, is it like a studio EP?
So, yeah, so we're planning on releasing an album, but that's way far in the future.
Okay.
We're just recording for this next
Yeah.
studio thing, just one song, just a single, just to see what the
Full Beans
Yeah.
studio, yeah.
the whole point was to produce a song with as much quality as we can and
Yep.
see where we get. Like,
Yep.
how much can we get done in 10 hours of studio time?
When somebody says, how many hours do you need?
Right.
You're like, okay, we did this once. We want
Right.
to do it 8 times.
Right.
Yeah.
With classic rock stuff and blues stuff, which is like the most common stuff that you'll see at studios, because, you know, it's easy. People will be like, yeah, you'll knock it out in like 5 hours max, whatever. Or, you know, maybe more. It depends
Yeah.
on the music and the quality of musicians. If it's studio musicians, they can do it in like
Dude,
2 hours.
literally studio musicians, like, exist to do
Right.
that.
But for this genre, like, we've been talking to people, and it's like, no, they take like 3 to 5 days sometimes on these
Yeah.
on one song. It blew my mind.
Yeah.
It's like 3 to 5 days.
It's a bit more of an involved genre,
It's
artistically
in
speaking.
every
The
instrument.
painting is a bit more, you know what I mean, strokey.
Right,
The
because
arranging.
that's
yeah.
one thing we focus on a lot is our mix between instruments. Like, I feel like the most important thing with our music is the interaction between instruments, and you could probably say that for every genre, but especially in like post-hardcore, it's
Yeah.
like if the bass is kind of going off while the drums are going off, while the guitar is going off, while the singer is screaming, it's like it could be cool for like if that's what you're going for.
Yeah.
But if you're doing that in the entire song, there's no dynamic. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to work in this. You're not going to hear everything, and you want to be able to pick out different parts and how they work with each other and interlock. And it's all about balance.
Mm-hmm.
Are you feeling good on stage as a musician? What is your
Yeah.
hobby?
Yeah. No, I feel pretty good. I played a little bit before Antillion on stages like with my brother and like with past bands I've been with.
Cool.
But like
A
now,
little experience, but
Yeah.
now it's been a year with the same band.
yeah,
With the same set list. I mean, plus or minus a cover or rearrange or whatever, but it's been these songs, especially on this upcoming EP.
Yeah.
Even though there's the new one, and others that are already in the mix. Which one specifically, if I didn't already ask this question, are you recording?
Crutches.
Crutches. Okay. Awesome.
yeah. But like at this point, it's kind of like I was talking to Robert, like the rest of the band, like this. It's like second nature right now for me to play like the songs that we've been playing, so we can focus more. Or at least I can focus more on like the performance itself.
Totally.
Rather than just like overthinking like, oh, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to mess up.
What song? Set
Yeah.
list. When do I go? Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. Don't miss it. Damn it, I missed it.
Yeah.
But here we go.
I can just kind of be there in the moment and just really enjoy.
Because again,
it. Yeah.
a show is a show. The album is like this
Yeah.
is what it's supposed to perfectly sound like. The show, you're going to be out. It's funny if you trip over a cable and you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
a drink, and it's a good time. But
Yeah.
you do that on the album,
Yeah.
yuck. Then you have Forever, talking about Boehm, there's that Zeppelin song, Black Dogs, I think.
Yep.
Where you're just like, no, you guys messed up in there. And I know it's like 1970 and a half. And you know what I mean? They don't have a lot of the digital whatevers, but you feel like that band at least could have. The last question that I have regarding recording is, do you like, because I feel like your EPs that you released were recorded fairly early. Do you feel that you enjoy recording and then playing, going out and gigging around that recording session? Or do you like gigging the songs almost like a stand-up comedy special? You've been running these jokes on tour for a year. Now let's go film the HBO comedy special, which is the album. Do you like having gigged the songs and then recording that album? Or do you like recording the album and then going and gigging it? Buy our album.
Definitely gigging the songs, because one thing that I don't remember who told me this, but the benefit to gigging a song is you can physically see how the audience reacts to certain sections, and they're like, especially across many shows, it's like you get a sort of data distribution of like, all right, this section didn't hit as hard as we thought it might have, or this section was really difficult to get live, or it didn't mesh, and the audience just hated it,
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to be like, all right, we're gonna sit on this song for so long and record it, and then we're gonna play it live. It's like we don't really have the luxury. It's like if there's a really good song or idea that we have, we're gonna turn it into a song and play it before we sell it.
If this goes on, right, and it's awesome, Antillion World Tour, Japan, here we go. Would you ever go back and do like a re-release? Would you? We did that with our friend in their basement, even though it was cool, and a studio. Now this is like a studio where they have like chairs for everyone, and they have our names on them, and everybody gets their own brand new cables, and it's perfect. Would you go back, or would you only kind of look forward and still have that first EP? Like, man, you remember when it was just our homie in the basement?
That's a hard question. I think maybe certain songs. I mean, like I said, this EP is kind of just like, we're figuring our stuff out, and this is what we came up with, and from now on, it's going to be like, this is Antillion, and you're gonna see the progress and the growth within every single release, ideally, and that's the thing. Like with every song that we write now, it's like, this is our favorite song. All right, we just wrote another song. This is now our favorite song. It's like they keep getting better progressively. So it's like, we love all our old songs, but at some point, they're probably gonna, stay on Spotify and never get played if we make it that long. But
I get it though. I think that's a cool idea, because you're releasing multiple songs, but if one happens to stand out, You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe in 10 years when you guys are, give me 10 grand. Let's go do another album, right? And then like pick that one because that's a big crowd pleaser. I forgot. I just remembered. You guys just went on a micro show tour to Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
That's in Michigan. You guys actually had a video of it this time, which I thought was really cool. Really simple, record. Was that on a phone, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yep, or multiple phones.
Yeah.
But brilliant. It was like a little vlog. I'll definitely link it in the description. Tell me about the trip. This was your first out of city as a band go to play a trip.
Yeah.
It was fun. I mean, a lot of driving for me at least.
One car?
We took 2 cars. Noemi and her family drove. And then,
nice. Built-in support.
Yeah. So luckily they had a bunch of space because I have a tiny sedan.
I've seen it.
2005 Toyota Corolla. It's in the video. But yeah, it was fun. It's like when we get together, it's like we don't have a lot of time. We're usually at a rehearsal studio, and we're literally paying for that time. So it's like we don't get a lot of time to just hang out and be friends.
For real.
Like it's always, okay, let's practice, let's work on this. And it's just nice to sit in a car for 4 hours and talk to your friends.
I just did it with my own drummer. We went to Kentucky for a weekend.
Oh, it's so fun.
Just having that time to just, all right, you're in charge of Spotify for a half hour. And just that will inevitably open up conversations that, even though you guys have known each other for a long time and have baked in history already, now you're forming these bonds together. There's somebody was talking about when you're joining like an established band, they gotta like you, right?
Yeah.
You could be the perfect musician.
Yeah.
You're a doink, and nobody wants to hang out with you. I'm not putting you on a bus for 8 months where I'm away from my family with you.
Yeah.
So it's cool that you guys get to bond. You guys already seem like a family, even though Noemi is in 1,000 bands. Mike's got side. You guys in side projects?
Not public.
Other than just doing music.
Yeah,
you know
not
what I mean?
public ones, but
okay.
We dabble.
You guys still seem like this would be the core group, even though I still Lavender Point. No better
Today.
Thank you.
What about
I
today?
always want to say tomorrow.
We always make that joke.
They're great bands, right? And they're still just as cohesive, even though I think Lavender Point feels very cohesive. But it's still a separate thing. Antillion feels like a planet, and there's like other moons. So in a hypothetical, Lavender Point goes on tour with Garfunkel and Oates, whatever. They're gone. Noemi's got to go. Guys, we're going on Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So I guess my question would be, what would you do?
What would you do?
Because I'm just trying to imagine the scenario. It's your friend. Noemi's dope as shit. And you want to be supportive. Absolutely go. But Noemi is, every single one of you is an ingredient in the Antillion soup. Yeah.
I mean, if we're playing shows and we have the time, it wouldn't be too hard to find a replacement just for live. But like for writing, it's like, we like to have everyone there, and we don't want to exclude. We try to be a democracy as much as possible, even though bands shouldn't be. There's always got to be someone who kind of takes lead, because
someone's
otherwise
got to be like, all right,
it's
it. We have another issue to move on to. That's
right.
good.
If everyone has an equal say, it's like, all right, nothing ever gets done. But yeah, if Noemi's listening, which she definitely will, you're not kicked out of the band.
No. Well, I'm hoping to paint the picture of like, this is definitely more of a family type band, whereas like you'd see like Steely Dan. You guys know Steely Dan?
Yeah.
Those are like studio musicians, top of the bill. Yeah, Jeff plays band for everybody. He'll come in and play bass on this next album, whatever. Whereas Antillion is like, if Noemi left, if Bobby leaves, if Robert goes, that's like, all right, we gotta like the person who's gonna. Yes, life goes on. We'll replace whatever's gonna go on, but you gotta we gotta meet you. We have a thing that we do here that is obviously paying off. How you guys approach this as a group is really working. So that's the core already. Almost the members are irrelevant because your core idea is like, no, the love and the passion is Antillion, and the music comes out because we listen to these bands, and these are the members. And that's super cool. Guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I think this was a wonderful interview.
Yeah.
Very first podcast,
Yeah.
Robert the drummer, Bobby the guitar player of Antillion. everybody check out the Ending on a Bad Note and Maybe It's Cruel on Spotify. Links in the description. I'll even link that Kalamazoo vlog. I thought it was a really cool. You guys should do more stuff like that.
Okay.
Just something. Even a rehearsal day, a day in the life of being but still, you know what I mean? It's cool. It gets your stuff out there. It's fun. It shows the humanity behind it. I love catching your stickers somewhere. Because I know inevitably we put them everywhere. Somebody who just went bing, and it's an excellent time.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for coming over. This was excellent.
Of course, thanks for having us.
I'll see you guys at Lions.
Cooper Lounge.
Yep.